to the Fredonia Central School Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, November 19, 2024. We start every meeting with the pledge to the flag, so please stand with me for the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So before we start the meeting, I would like to ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of Mackenzie Mahalski, a 2010 graduate of our school, and Judy Reynolds, who is a retired teacher, both of whom passed away recently. So let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. So tonight we have a proposed agenda with a consent agenda including personnel, but excluding A1 and C, but also including all of new business. Is there anything that anyone would like to pull out of tonight's consent agenda? Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Ms. Cullo, thank you. A second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm just hearing from the right. Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So we move right into our first comment, public comment for the night. And so I'll read our procedure here. The board has reserved this time to hear comments from the audience. Those wishing to address the board are asked to stand, give their name and address, and limit their comments to 5 minutes or less per individual group. Concerns and comments during this session should be directly related to items listed on the proposed agenda for this meeting. We do have a second public comment at the end, where if there's something that's not on the agenda, you're free to speak. But for this, it's just on the if it's on the agenda. So is there anybody that would like to speak tonight on an item that's on the agenda? Yes.
I don't know if it's on the agenda. This is my first time to a board meeting.
Sure.
But I want to talk about this, these projects you want to do to come next year that we're voting on in December, the capital projects.
Yes, so
I don't know if that's on or not.
it's not on the agenda, but are we discussing the superintendent report?
Yeah, since we have a special presentation and at least one young lady's trying to get back to a practice, I would ask that we hold that until the second round, if that's acceptable. The meeting should move along pretty quick tonight.
Okay, that's
should
fine.
be fairly quick.
That's fine.
So,
yeah.
Okay, thank
yeah,
you.
thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak on the item that's on the agenda? Okay, great. So we'll move on then, and what we have next is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting from November 6th. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Ms. Hahn, thank you, and Mr. Marshall, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Also, tonight we have the approval of the minutes of the policy committee meeting from November 5th. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Mr. Kinney, thank you. A second?
Second.
Mr. Marshall, I'll go with you. Thank you. Any comments on the policy committee minutes? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. So that moves us, before we move into our financial reports, we have a special presentation to welcome our new Board of Education student representatives. And also to continue to welcome our new staff members to the Fredonia family for 2024-25. So Dr. Ziliak, I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, so this is exciting. A few years ago, the board started discussing adding a student representative, and last year, for the first time, we did that. And at that point, we just had one individual. And this year, as we got into, and there is a process for how we select a person, they submit some things in writing, then they come for an interview, and we kind of brief that as an interview committee, then make a selection. This year, the group was really impressive on a couple different levels, so we went in a slightly different direction, where we decided to have a primary student board rep, but also an alternate. So that way it guarantees, or almost guarantees, that we'll have somebody present, even if things like basketball or other things are happening on that night, especially games. And we have some options, and we also have 2 students involved. They also kind of operate in different social circles, so we also thought that they would pull different insights and different feedback from their peer groups that they could share here over the course of the school year. So I wanted to introduce them real quick and perhaps give them a chance to say a quick word or two. But our primary student Board of Education representative is going to be Ann Greeley this year. She is a senior who did very well in the interview process. She sees this as a leadership opportunity and a chance to be more involved in the school district. She wants to have the student voice heard and feels like she can gather input from her peers that will be helpful to the Board of Education. She is currently playing basketball, actually on break from practice right now. So there may be some scheduling conflicts down the road, but we'll be communicating about that. And she is also part of NHS and Unified Club. Welcome to Ann. Anything you'd like to share with the group, Ann?
I'm just really excited for this opportunity and learning experience. Can't wait. I'm ready.
Welcome.
All right. Sam Garris-Johnson is our alternate this year, and she was also very impressive in the interview process. Also as a senior, Sam is interested in being an art educator. So the thought was that this experience would give a better understanding of school districts in general, but also Fredonia, while being able to provide insights as needed from a personal point of view, but also from the larger peer group as needed. Sam is in the Art Honor Society and also part of the Game Club, GSA, Interact Club, and helps with the graphics with our student morning announcements. Welcome to Sam. Sam, anything you'd like to share with the group?
I don't know. I was kind of nervous.
That's okay.
Hi.
Welcome.
That's okay. That was sort of like that last year, and as the meetings go, everyone gets a little more comfortable. But we are excited to have you both be part of this process. We are glad that you are both involved and want to make sure that we express our appreciation, first of all, and especially for me, for even applying. Several students reached out and said, hey, I think I want to do that. And I said, well, hey, there's some quick paperwork and an interview. And then sometimes I didn't hear from those students again. But you guys saw this through and are here at the table tonight. And I'll plan on reaching out to both of you sometime over this next week. We'll get together and chat and have a plan for our next meeting, which is on December 10th. So FYI there. I don't know, anything from the board in terms of our student reps?
Welcome, yeah. I mean, we're excited to have you join the table. By the way, I'm always nervous too, so don't worry about it. But thank you for stepping out of your comfort zone and doing this. It's not easy, but it's very rewarding. And we're looking forward to your inputs. So thanks. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Ann, you're more than welcome to return to practice, so
Okay.
good luck and have a great season.
Thank you.
And Sam, you're more than welcome to stay or head out, depending on what you have going on. So, all good. Secondly, our last board meeting, we invited new faculty to come and just chat a little bit about their experience so far in Fredonia. It's nice for us to revisit who everybody is, put names with faces, and hear a little bit how things are going. I think we have 2 individuals here tonight. As you probably remember, Susan Waltridge joined us as a librarian and is working out of mainly the intermediate library. And Susan, if you wouldn't mind just coming to the microphone and just sharing a few thoughts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's really
There we
loud.
go. Nice.
So I'm the K-12 librarian. I work, like you said, mostly in the intermediate library. I'm teaching 3 sections of 5th grade. We're focusing mostly on digital literacy and research skills. I also write the lesson plans for the elementary teaching assistant, so I try to pop in there as often as I can because I need to know the students to really write the lesson, so I'm trying to catch up with that. And then if any other time, I'm at this point learning the collections in 3 different libraries. I've been over to Wheelock a couple times. We're trying to grow that into more of a, you know, robust preschool collection over there. And I've been, when I get a chance, maybe about 3 periods a week, coming down to the high school library because I feel like this needs some loving and some attention too. So kind of all over the place, which makes it a really interesting and neat job. I'm enjoying having the range of things. And there's always something to do, so that's nice too. I guess that's it, unless there's any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks good here. Good job.
What's that?
You might also remember that Katie Brown joined us in the high school science department, and she's here and is willing to share a few words.
Don't be close. Yeah, okay. Is that good? Okay. Hi, I'm Katie Brown. I am the high school science teacher. I do earth science and geoscience. A little bit about me, I grew up in Eden, graduated from Eden High School, went to Fredonia for my bachelor's degree, UB for my master's. Right now, my classes are in the mapping unit, so we're doing like navigating, latitude and longitude, which is like the basis for like GPS, the turn-by-turn directions, and GIS systems, which really any career could use GIS. Anything that uses maps to visualize data, GIS is a basis for that, and latitude and longitude is how the data gets on the map. So we'll be revisiting it a lot throughout the year, and then the students will have the opportunity to go further. I know we have a high school elective that looks at GIS, and then a GIS club as well that the students can use to further their experience with it. Things that I'm enjoying here with Fredonia, I'm nervous too. But I've taught here before. I was a long-term sub for Mrs. Beekner, and I really enjoyed the experience. It was such a welcoming community, so I'm really glad to be back here. Excited to work with the science department again. They were all very professional, very enthusiastic about their science, and then sharing that enthusiasm with the students too. So I'm excited to work with them again, and it's been great so far.
Great.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Like I said at the last meeting, it's always exciting to have new instructors in the building, bringing new ideas, fresh perspectives, perhaps some things they've brought with them from their training or other school districts, and this group has been fantastic. We're happy to have everyone on board. Glad both of you could be here tonight, and you know, we're excited for what the future brings for all the new faculty we have on board right now. So, nicely done.
That's it? Yeah. Yeah, as I said last time, it's a great practice. We make a tradition every year to have new teachers come in. It's great to meet both of you. Little FYI, I'm a retired earth science teacher myself, so latitude, longitude is close to my heart. I used to use the Ramsey Valley atlases, and I use Google Maps now. So, but, I love latitude, longitude lessons, so thanks for coming tonight, both of you. We appreciate it.
And if you have papers to grade and
Yeah.
family events,
Yeah, you're free.
feel free
Free to
to
cut
cut out, and
Yeah,
we'll see you tomorrow.
thank you. So now on to our financial reports. We have 2 items tonight. The first item is to approve a transportation contract. Could I have a motion to bring that to the table?
So moved.
Ms. Han, thank you. A second? Second. Mr. Marshall, thanks. Mr. Forbes, anything to add on this contract?
Yeah, you might recall last meeting we approved a second 31-day contract for transporting students to and from Carrier Center. And I think I had mentioned at the time that we'd be bidding it, and that's what this is, the result for the rest of the school year, and it actually came in, same company, slightly less than they were charging on the 31 days, so it all worked out.
Good. Okay. Any questions, comments?
I just had a quick question. Can you just clarify, I think I have asked this before, but when we see these contracts through the year, are these, do you kind of place, or, you know, hold a place in the budget already, or are these pushing us over our transportation?
This one was not budgeted for, but we do get the aid back on it, which is about 74% right now.
Okay,
Most of the rest of them
our
are
budget.
budgeted.
Great. Any other questions?
Just for those who probably don't know, or may not know, I should say, these are things we're legally obligated to provide. There is no way around it. Like, these are things that we do for the students, and then you mentioned the aid that comes back.
Yeah, and obviously, these days with the driver shortages, we try to pair up wherever we can with different districts. This particular one, we weren't able to do that, coming back and forth to Carrier. North Collins was the site of one of the original students in the morning session, and then they have sessions at Carrier in the afternoon. So North Collins is transporting that part of it, but this part we couldn't find any way to team up with, so.
And it's not unusual for this to happen, and it's not unusual at some point during the year these things may change.
Yeah.
Or I should say, it's not out of the ordinary.
It's not out of the ordinary, no.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you've worked your magic with pairing up with other schools other years. Are we paired up with some other schools this year?
We're paired up with Jamestown for P-Tech right now, and we had a temporary thing going with Westfield that ended up, we didn't need that, so there's been some good conversations going back and forth. And then Dunkirk shares a ride with First Student to a couple locations. They pay their portion, we pay our portion, so it's not a piggyback.
Okay, so there's always open communication going on.
Yeah, I mean,
Try to
it's the
minimize.
challenge with the driver shortage coming off of COVID, and this year, yesterday, as an example, we had, I think, 4 buses or maybe 5 that we had to share rides because of driver shortages, so.
Yeah.
Ken does a great job of First Student trying to balance all that out. And principals obviously are assisting at this end, making sure the kids get on the right bus for the given day, so.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We also have the final approval of the tax collector's report. Could I have a motion to bring that to the table? So, Mr. Kenny, Ms. Ford in a second. Mr. Forbes?
So this is a school tax collection report. We took in $14,435,000 in collection, and if you pair that with the star that we haven't received yet, but we know we will, we took in 93.9% of our total levy compared to 93.41 in the prior year. That seems to be our norm, though, pretty much as long as I can remember, somewhere in that 92-93% range, which we appreciate the community's support on that. Great help, we're using the lockbox at M&T, all the people up there were great help coming through the process. We had nothing that I would consider to be out of the ordinary, just the day-to-day, people pay the wrong amount or can't find their bill, those kinds of things. So, all in all, not a lot of hardship there.
Any questions? What happens to that 7% that isn't collected?
So what happens is, on the 22nd of November, the county will stop accepting anybody that's paid after we started our collection last week. Kind of give the stragglers a little bit of a chance, and then they will re-levy any of the amounts that are left in January. The county tax bill appears as a re-levied school tax amount. They make us whole for that amount in late March or early April, and then they take on the business of perhaps some foreclosures and things of that way down the line. But we're essentially made whole once we turn it over to the county this week.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're into personnel now. Let's see, the first item is to approve the recommendation of Emily Fee to a tenured position in the elementary tenure area. Do I have a motion to bring that to the table?
So moved.
Ms. Cullo, thank you. Second?
Second.
Mr. Kinney? So, Dr. Zoix, I understand that she couldn't make it tonight, but you have a prepared statement?
I do. She shared a very nice statement, which I'll try to read as best I can, and then we'll turn it over to Mr. Jollinger for any comments. This is from Emily. She says, "I'm writing to express my sincere gratitude and excitement upon receiving tenure as a teacher in this wonderful district. This milestone is both a professional and personal achievement, and I want to take a moment to thank each one of you for your support and trust in me as an educator. Fredonia has become a second home for me as I started my teaching journey here in 2020 as a first grade student teacher. Since joining the district in November 2020 officially, I have felt incredibly fortunate to be part of such a vibrant, dedicated community. The students, staff, and leadership have made it a truly rewarding place to work, and I am proud to contribute to our shared mission of fostering a nurturing, challenging, and inclusive learning environment. Receiving tenure is not only a recognition of my commitment to the district, but also a reflection of the opportunities I have been given to grow as an educator. I am deeply appreciative of the resources, professional development, and encouragement provided by the district, which have all played a vital role in my continued success. I am more committed than ever to supporting our students and making a positive impact in their lives. I look forward to many more years of collaboration and contribution, and I am excited to continue being part of a team that helps shape the future of our students and community. Thank you once again for this incredible honor. I am proud to call this district my professional home. Sincerely, Emily Thie. And to me, this letter really sums up the kind of educator Emily is, very positive, very upbeat, very supportive, very nurturing, really goes above and beyond to support our students and families, and just has a really nice learning environment where I think kids are welcomed every day and feel really comfortable being part of her classroom. Mr. Drollinger.
Yeah, Emily's a great teacher. She has character and credibility. She's a loving teacher who welcomes all kids, even most challenging kids. And her credibility comes from the growth that she's made. Like she said, I got to see her as a student teacher, and then a first-year teacher, and now in her fourth year, fifth year that I've known her, she's really grown a lot. So those are two qualities that I look for in an educator, so I recommend her for tenure, and thank you for the approval tonight.
Any comments from the board? I mean, tenure it's a very rigorous process, so this is a time for celebration for her. It's, congratulations to Emily on getting tenure. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, well, my apologies, there was an addendum tonight, and I don't know where to put it. I'm putting it in now. Because there is an item to be voted on, it would come in this order. But we also had a couple of consent items, so my apologies for not asking if anybody would like that to be anything brought out of consent. So are we allowed to ask if they want anything out of consent?
It's kind of a general conversation for consent, but if someone feels strongly, you can certainly pull it out, yes.
Is there anything there that anybody would like pulled out of consent? So, the item that's on the docket to be voted on is under Personnel B2, and that's the appointment of Colleen Schroep to a probationary teaching position in the elementary education tenure area. Could I have a motion to bring that to the table?
So,
Mr. Marshall, and I'm sorry over here, Ms. Fortna, thank you for a second. Dr. Ziliuks, any comments?
Oh yeah, just briefly from me, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Paul Hamus. So this is a vacancy that was created when Maddie Webb left the district as our middle school computers business teacher. It's currently being filled by Kim Powell, a retired teacher from the district for many years. Thank you to Kim for that. That is, like having about the best long-term substitute you could possibly have in this content area, so we absolutely appreciate her. Colleen is currently working at BOCES in alternative ed, but definitely has a real passion for the kind of lessons and instruction that's provided in these classes. She is a second career person. She worked for about 10 years in business and in the field. So I think she has a lot to bring to our students with that background and those experiences, and really just a really nice positive energy and attitude in my conversations with her. So, Ms. Paul Hamus.
Yes, the committee was thrilled with how excited she was as we explained the nuances sort of what that position entails. But coming to it with the second career experience from her business background, I think is going to really support our kids in their learning around that too. So she's excited to get started again. I'm very grateful to Kim for helping to, continue that consistent instruction since Maddie left. To get us to this point, so they will have some time to transition together, Colleen and Kim, which is also helpful to kind of smooth her transition into school, and then we'll be on break for 2 weeks, but then we'll come back in January and she'll be ready to go.
Great. That's fantastic. There's a transition period too,
Mm-hmm.
and thanks to Kim for stepping up and helping us out in her retirement years. It's great to have a business teacher in place now. Any other comments from the board? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, congratulations to Ms. Schroep. The third item under personnel is to approve Maria DeJoy, Ivana Height, and Todd Crandall as daily interim building administrators at the Wheelock Early Childhood Center through January 31st, 2025. Could I have a motion to bring this to the table?
So moved.
Ms. Hahn?
Second.
Mr. Marshall, thank you. Dr. Zoyos?
Yeah, again, similar to Kim Powell, we have 3 really experienced people coming in to help us out at Wheelock. They will not be there on the same day. These are alternating days over the course of the remainder of this month, December and into January. Some people know Maria DeJoy is a longtime administrator in Jamestown, mostly at the elementary level at M.J. Fletcher Elementary School. Ivana Height, who helped us out last year at the middle school, longtime administrator from Westfield. And Todd Crandall, as many of you know, again, I think taught in Chautauqua Lake, was an administrator in Forestville, then here in Fredonia, then went to Silver Creek as superintendent, and just retired a couple years ago. I think I'm actually missing one in there for Todd, but anyway, 3 great individuals who will certainly serve Wheelock very well, and already Maria was in Monday, and Todd was here today, sending out some emails and sending out a couple things on Thrill Share to the Wheelock parents, so they're right in the mix, and it's a good start. Thanks to all of them for being willing to help fill the gap for the moment.
Todd's keeping himself busy in his retirement years. He's also president of the Chautauqua County School Board Association.
Correct.
So we're very fortunate to have those 3 administrators helping us out. Extremely fortunate, so thanks to them. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So the rest of the agenda is under consent, so that leads us to our second round of public comments. So this is the time where we can hear from anybody who has something that's not on the agenda. So, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, but if you could give your name
Victoria.
and address. Do we have a microphone? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Talk loud if I have.
Okay, all right,
Everybody hear
thank
me
you.
okay?
Yes, that's fine.
No, I just wanted to comment on the upcoming projects that we'll be voting on in December. I feel that because we had that survey this summer, that obviously it's going to be approved, so I don't even know why we're voting. But my concern is, and I'm gonna use rounded numbers, at 350 for the next 17 years is quite steep for us. I mean, you've got a lot of people that are senior citizens that don't get that extra income. And with gas and electric going up in April, and my personally, and I'm sure everybody else's, health insurance is going up, mine's going up $30 a month from January. It's getting harder and harder just to survive. Now, my thing is, why, and I don't know if this was ever discussed, maybe you guys want to do everything at one time while you have everybody here. Why, just do one project, get it done, get it paid for, give us a year breather, and go on to the next and then the third. Because by the time the 17 years is up, there's gonna be another couple of capital projects. So it's an ongoing and it's a non-stop, and personally, I'm exhausted. But you guys, I think, are forgetting that you've got senior citizens that really, I don't care, they really don't get a raise. If they get a raise in Medicare, it goes down to the, what do I want to say, hospital part, you know, health insurance. So, and you still need the sidekick health insurance. So I just don't know, I just don't understand why we have to spend so much money. That's constant, constant, constant. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, well, thank you for attending.
Yeah,
I didn't
again,
catch your
even
name.
though with the enhanced program and all that, is a big help. It's a very big help. But if I need a new roof, I'm gonna have to put a pot in for a donation in front of my house, the way it's going. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I didn't catch your name and address.
Victoria Jaquila,
Okay, and your address?
Liberty Street.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say maybe half of Liberty are already senior citizens, but nobody in school.
Right,
Okay, and I've been there 30+ years.
right.
So there's a lot of senior citizens in this village,
Sure.
okay? I mean, we don't mind supporting the school, but I just think that just so much is getting out of hand that nobody's caring about us at all. So, and I am speaking for a handful, not just myself.
Okay.
And I'm hoping my '07 car lasts me till the day I die. You know, my 10-year-old grandson wants me to give it to him for demolition. So anyway, I just had to express myself here on this, and maybe it's too late to express it, but myself and several other seniors are really upset. They're upset.
Sure.
I mean, the thing, because we've got things in like the village and Dunkirk, like the Orange Bowl and Dunkirk, and Fredonia with the water. We vote people in to take care of our things, and it has not been going well, obviously. Dunkirk wouldn't be millions in debt, and we're in debt also as far as the village goes, and because water, then we wouldn't have a problem with water if they had kept up the reservoir. We wouldn't have had a problem with the Orange Bowl if that was kept up. We could have a beautiful Orange Bowl. So it's just, I just see everything deteriorate just so we can rebuild. It costs more money. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
And I thank you for listening to me and taking the time.
sure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Victoria, if you could hang around for 5 minutes, coming up next is what's called the superintendent report. I'm speaking a little bit to the capital project, but I might have a couple things that just might be helpful informationally. So,
Okay, it's not helping me money-wise, I'm just telling you that much.
maybe not.
All right, well, we're on to the superintendent report.
Yeah. So, since we're on the topic of the capital project, there's a couple of things we wanted to share tonight. And this kind of, I think, gives us an opportunity to review a little bit, because we've been talking about this capital project for almost 2 years, definitely more intensely over the last year. And, you know, unless you were paying attention to the beginning of those conversations, some of it might be lost. But some of the questions have been, you know, why are we doing this now, and why does the project seem a little bit larger than projects in the past? And some of the reason for that, and please know this is not a criticism, it's just kind of the way things fell, is that over the past 30 years, we've done 2 capital projects. Other districts, I was talking to the Lakeshore superintendent the other day, they've done 5, going on 6 projects during that same time. So they were involved in that upkeep on a more regular basis. And as we did less projects, it's caused the things that we just need to do for maintenance, much like the things that you do on your home, roofs and ventilation, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, all of those things. Those things have built up, where our Proposition 1 right now is about $20 million, because we haven't done as many capital projects. Some of this project also comes out of good things, like our music program growing very rapidly. That's our Proposition 2, where we're trying to expand our music spaces to be able to fit everyone in within fire code, keep the decibel levels at a reasonable level, and make sure our students safe and are in those rooms. And we don't want to have to limit the number of students that can be part of our music programs, our music ensembles. So that's where Proposition number 2 comes from. Proposition 3 comes from, over the time that I've been here, about 4 years, there's been a constant stream of people coming to the board, or communications coming to the board or to me from students, staff, coaches, game officials, opposing coaches, opposing parents, not so much opposing players, but visitors coming and seeing that our athletic fields are not up to par with what they're used to seeing in other locations. So this is our effort to at least give the community a chance to vote and determine whether or not we move forward with these items or not. Please know, around this table, we are not taking anything for granted that anything will pass. And that's part of the reason why I'm going to share why we're trying to communicate so much, because we want people to have the correct information for them to be able to formulate an opinion and then have their voice heard on December 12th when we do vote. So that's a little bit of background. It doesn't address the dilemma that we find ourselves in, but it does give you, I'm hoping, a little bit more information about how we kind of find ourselves where we do right now. So thinking about this idea of, it was important to all of us to listen to the community, hear what they believed needed to be part of a capital project, or they wanted to be part of a capital project. Package those things together, then put it out there for the vote. And in my mind, it's just like a football game, right? You never know who's gonna win, that's why they play the game. And in this situation, you never know what any election is gonna bring, that's why we vote. So we're hoping people show up on the 12th, be part of this, get involved, have their voice heard, and we'll accept whatever those results are. Me personally, I believe that this project gives us the best chance to make good on a couple things we've been talking about in the district. One is our mission about students and adults becoming their greatest selves. It helps us make good on our vision of being innovative, dynamic, and global in what we do. And it also delivers on one of our key core beliefs, which is being student-centered, and really thinking about how do we provide the best opportunities for students, how do we put students in the best possible position to be successful. So December 12th, we'll see what the community feels about that. In the meantime, we're trying to communicate as much as we possibly can. It started at board meetings a while ago with conversations, with presentations, all kinds of different configurations of slides and PowerPoints and those types of things. We've had a few different public forums where we've invited the community to listen to our debate and our discussions. We've also went out to football games and soccer games and volleyball games and concerts. The trunk or treat, we had a group go to. You know, I visited the Fredonia Fire Department to share some information. I went to Rotary to share some information. So we're trying to be out there personally, face to face, to reach out and let people know what is involved in these propositions, and give them the information they need to make an informed decision. We are also doing some other things behind the scenes and through other forms of communication to get the word out there. Our website is loaded with information. You can connect to it right from our homepage without any difficulty. There's actually an additional tab right now for the capital project itself. There are 22 Q&A questions and answers that are there to be seen. There's information about absentee ballots there. There's an electronic flyer. There's also a copy of our lobby boards that you can see in our entrances, including Wheelock, including the event entrance. So we're really trying to go out of our way to share information. Our social media page, particularly our Facebook, which is probably the most visited, has all kinds of posts over the last several weeks, and that will continue up until December 12th. This week we've been featuring more our question and answers. So each post is maybe 3 questions and 3 answers that seem to be common questions that people are asking. We will also ramp up our direct messaging where we can connect with those people that we have contact information, especially through email. We'll limit the number of phone calls you receive at home, but that will ramp up as we get a little bit closer to the 12th. We also have a newsletter that will go out right after Thanksgiving. That's 4 pages. That'll go to all residents, regardless of whether you have a student in the district right now or not. So people will be able to see that. We're looking at adding 2 meetings, one here and one at Wheelock, which is just question and answer. If you have a question, we'll answer it. And hopefully that'll open up some additional dialogue. You know, we also are in communication with our local newspaper and also local radio, and that will be part of what happens as we move a little bit closer to the vote as well. The last thing I wanted to mention, and we've been working on, we want to thank Kevin Way, one of our music teachers at the middle school, for his time and effort above and beyond the school day. to put together a video that summarizes the project, the 3 propositions, gives us a chance to hear from a few people, myself, Mr. Forbes, Andy Bennett, one of our music teachers and instructional leader in our music program, and also Jesse Beers, one of our middle school teachers and varsity softball coach. I have volleyball on the brain since that's such a great season. But we thought we'd share this video with everybody tonight, and this is the first time this will be seen. This will go out on all kinds of social media starting tomorrow.
It's the premiere.
It's the premiere, yes. Should have had a red carpet.
Right.
Hi everybody, my name is Brad Ziliak. I'm proud to be superintendent here at Fredonia Schools. We're also very proud and excited to be sharing information with you about our capital project. Please know that any of the focus areas within Proposition 1, 2, and 3 all came from feedback from our school community. This was not about myself or our Board of Education working in isolation. Please also know that 2 key pieces of feedback from the school community were that our capital project should be about our students and student athletes and also about safety. We absolutely agree. Last, as you're watching the video, we would like you to keep in mind our district mission about everyone becoming their greatest selves, our district vision about being innovative, dynamic, and global in what we do, and also our core belief about being student-centered in our decision-making and our behavior. Our vote is on December 12th from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here in the high school cafeteria. Please take a look at this video. Thank you for learning more about our capital project.
Hi, I'm John Forbes. I'm the business administrator at Fredonia Central School. I'm here to talk a little bit about Proposition 1. Before we do that, I'd like to get into a little bit of background information. New York State requires all school districts to do a building condition survey every 5 years. A building condition survey examines your facilities from top to bottom, in and out, everything from parking lots to roofs, etc. So the district hired Young and Wright Architects in 2023 to perform that work for us. They were on site with the team in the summer of 2023 and into the fall of 2023, from which was developed a list of about $50 million of what they felt was necessary or should be looked at kinds of repairs. From that, the district team and the Young and Wright team met and whittled it down to approximately $22 million of items that we felt were necessary moving forward to develop the warm, safe, and dry proposition number 1 for the safety of our students and our staff. It's important to note also that the last major capital project by the district was in 2000 and was about $33 million worth of work. So it's been some 25 years since we've had essentially this type of opportunity to do this type of work. Looking at what we're doing at the Wheelock School, we'll be doing roofing, mechanical services, we're replacing the generator, the fire alarm system, the PA system, the clocks, we're adding isolation valves in our plumbing system, and we're also adding an age-appropriate playground space for our young students at Wheelock School. On the Main Street campus, we're also doing additional roofing. We're replacing the pool dehumidification unit and pool heater in the pool area, some plumbing and electrical replacements, including a new fire alarm system at the Main Street campus. We will also be resurfacing our existing track as part of the capital project. Also, it should be important to mention the cost on the average home in Fredonia. Proposition 1 would be about $63 on the taxes. They encourage the voters to come out and vote on December 12th for these projects.
Hi, Andy Bennett here, Music Department Instructional Leader. So excited to talk to you about Proposition 2. We have this wonderful situation here at Fredonia where more students are playing an instrument or singing chorus than at any time in the past 25 years. This year, over 900 students are participating in our ensembles, and our facilities simply weren't made to house that many students or instruments. Proposition 2 would make all of our music rehearsal spaces bigger, provide more practice spaces, and allow us to meet our current student enrollments. Right now, we have ensembles that are so large they cannot rehearse together in any of our ensemble spaces. In addition, we have rooms that struggle to meet fire code and rooms that need to be improved to meet modern standards. For example, our chorus room is not fully accessible to handicapped students. Now, if Proposition 2 does not pass, the district is talking about capping music enrollment and limiting the number of students that can participate in an ensemble. And to me, Proposition 2 is a worthy task to make sure that every student has a chance to get quality music education. For Proposition 2 to pass, Proposition 1 must also pass. If Proposition 2 is passed, 78% of the project would be funded by the state. Our local share would equate to about $37 a year for the average Fredonia taxpayer. That's less than a night out to eat. Now, this money from the state can only be used for capital projects. It can't be used for other things that we might hope and wish to do in the future. Other districts in our area have taken advantage of these funds, and it's our turn to use these resources to help our students. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi there, Jesse Beers here, 6th grade math and science teacher and also varsity softball coach. Just want to talk to you briefly about the propositions that are going to be voted on this coming December, specifically Proposition 3. When it comes to the athletic services that our kids are going to be playing on, there's really three main components why this proposition needs to pass. First is safety, second is handicap accessibility, and third would be the competitiveness of us playing on these and then going on to play on turf fields during the playoffs. The safety issue is really probably the primary concern for everybody. I have watched softball players be injured often on our field over the years. I've seen football games where the officials will not let the games begin because our fields are in such bad shape. They're going around filling holes in. I've had softball umpires come to me before our games have started and say, we can't play on these fields until you fill in this hole, you cover up this piece of concrete. Just this past year, we've had a soccer team come to Fredonia and actually refuse to play on our field because the conditions are so bad. Number two, I would say, is the handicap accessibility. At our football fields, there is no handicap accessibility at all. The focus of Proposition 3 is updating facilities for our student athletes. This includes a turf field for soccer, football, baseball, and softball on the main campus, resurfacing the tennis courts, and providing new parking areas. The new multi-purpose field will include lights, grandstand bleachers, a press box, and dugouts. These new facilities will also be handicap accessible. 29% of this project will be covered by state aid, while the remaining 71% will be local. This will require a 6.9% tax increase for this portion of the capital project. That comes out to an average cost of $220 per household per year. If all three proposals pass, we are looking at a 9.9% tax increase and an average cost of $320 per year, or an average of $26.59 per month. This cost does not go up over the 10 years. It's important to point out that proposals 1 and 2 must pass in order for proposal 3 to pass. $25 a month to invest in our community, to invest in our children. I don't think that's all that much to ask. My kids are no longer in this district. My time here, I only have 4 years left here, and I will definitely be voting yes. So I encourage you to do the same.
So there you have it, everyone. Proposition 1, 2, and 3 for your consideration. From my perspective, this capital project gives us the best possible chance to make good on our mission. Again, everyone becoming their greatest selves, our vision, being innovative, dynamic, and global in what we're doing, and also our core belief of being student-centered in our behavior and our decision. We look forward to seeing you here on December 12th. Thank you for your time and consideration. Please remember to have your voice heard and cast your vote.
Going again?
I want to see it again, yeah.
Anita, Luke. No, thanks to Kevin Way who put that video together, right? Dr. Zoyce? Kevin Way put it together?
Yeah.
Good job, Mr. Forbes.
Yeah, John and Andy and Jesse there and Dr. Ziliak's, all the work that you put into that video. Thank you for that. So the next board meeting will be on Tuesday, December 10th at 6 p.m. here in the library. Now we move into, board comments. If there's comments, I have to comment that really appreciate all the time and energy people are putting into board members, into attending Chautauqua County School Board Association meetings, BOCES meetings, and thanks in advance to, I think, Courtney, right? Are you going Thursday or not? Or who's going Thursday?
You mean tomorrow?
Is it tomorrow? Okay, at the comedy center?
And I am.
Okay, okay,
Three of
so,
us are going, I know that.
so,
I'll be there.
I wanna
yeah,
thank you.
Brian, you're going to?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for attending. So that's great. And, yeah, so I'll miss out on the comedy, I guess. But thanks for that. Any other comments from board members tonight?
I attended the BOCES meeting at Louis Summit.
Right, last
So
week.
I have a couple things I'll email everyone so we have.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Marshall, for that. Anything else?
Earlier this evening, we had a moment of silence for Judy Reynolds. And if everyone remembers, in our time, before we became board members, or when we were going up for vote as a board member, Judy took a very strong position with this League of Women Voters in interviewing all of us and having a meet candidates session. And I just wanted to, unfortunately not thank her, but bring that out that she was very instrumental to this board in getting meet candidates out for years before that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, thank you.
That will be missed.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Aldridge. Any other comments? Okay, so we'll go on. Mr. Paschke, we'll start. Go around the table.
Sure. Just to add on to what Mr. Aldridge said, Mrs. Reynolds was a teacher here when I went to school. Many of you may know that my wife moved here from Thailand in middle school, and she spoke no English. And Judy took her under her wing. And back then we didn't have ENL. We had sink or swim. This is kind of what we had. And Judy taught her English. And so Judy just holds a special place in my wife's heart, and we just miss her, and we enjoyed seeing her through the years and maintained a friendship with her, so she's sadly missed. We have started the second quarter, and as we start the second quarter, each quarter I usually start off with class meetings. We've met with freshmen and sophomores so far. One of the things that I wanted to just review with you very quickly is some of the attendance data that I'm sharing with our kids, just to get them up to speed on how attendance is important and where we stand. So our freshmen, so far this year, we have 107 freshmen. Interestingly enough, 26 of them have no absences at all, and 26 of them are chronically absent, and 55 are right in the middle that have between 1 and 4 absences. Chronically absent, if you remember, is 10% absenteeism or higher. So that would be about 5 days at this point. So then I also correlated that to the grades. The 26 kids who have no absences, the average of their quarter grades was 92. The 55 in the middle that had between 1 and 4 absences, their average was 87. And significantly, the 26 who have missed more than 10% of the school day so far, their average was 71, 21 points lower than the kids who didn't miss any school. Just to point out the importance of attendance to them. We hit the tardies as well. 67 of our freshmen haven't been tardy at all, which is fantastic. We've had 16 that have been tardy once, 14 that are tardy twice, and 5 that are tardy 3 times. We only have 8 that have been tardy more than 3 times, and once they get to that magic number of 3, that's when they start getting detention. So there's kind of like a lesser feeling for them that they want to be tardy after that happens. But I think the freshmen have done a pretty decent job, at least with that. Our sophomores, similarly, there are 124 sophomores. 37 of them have had no absences. 56 are between 1 and 4 absences, and 31 have more than 5 absences, which is in that chronically absent range. What I'd like to point out is that's a little bit larger than the number of freshmen as a percentage that are chronically absent, and that's typical in schools. And if you remember when we did the Harvard study, that among all schools, really the curve tends to increase as you go through high school. The chronic absenteeism increases all the way up through senior year, and that's demonstrated here. For the students with no absences, for the sophomores, their quarter averages for the first quarter were 93. For the ones in the middle who have missed between 1 and 4 absences, their average was 86. And for the ones that have been chronically absent, their quarter 1 averages were 74. Again, significantly different based on being chronically absent. And I think it's important to point out that whether you had no absences or 1 through 4 absences, those numbers weren't significantly like huge. I think that there's a little bit of a drop, but the big drop comes as soon as you get into the chronically absent range. So that 10% is a critical number. For our sophomores, we've had 50, yay, with no tardies at all, 22 with 1, 14 with 2, 5 with 3, and 25 of them which have greater than 3. Other than that, we talked a little bit about the cell phones, the types of supports that we have in school, taking advantage of them, just relationships with peers, having pride and respect for each other, and other various things that are important to our kids. But I just wanted to hit the little pieces of data with you. I apologize for taking a few moments to do that.
Sorry, Mr. Pesci.
Yes.
When you are meeting with them, are you sharing these stats with the students?
I am.
Awesome.
Yep, that's what yep. And so juniors are going to be on Thursday and seniors are going to be on Friday. I couldn't do Wednesday because we have musical coming up. And they're having their presentation to the kids Wednesday morning. A couple other quick things I just wanted to congratulate our Model UN students who did a fantastic job this year, and their coaches, Pat Newell and Tom Donovan. And I wasn't at the last board meeting to talk about this, but since then our girls volleyball team continued to do very amazing. Made it 1 game before state, so congratulations to our girls and Amanda Krakowiak, their coach. Lastly, I just wanted, many of our administrators have attended something called TIG training, and that's trauma, illness, and grief. And this is a cool program that has come out of Monroe County in the Rochester area. And it's really large there, and it has spread into some neighboring counties. There are over 1,000 participants, and I forget the name of the county that's next to it up there, to the east. I don't know if someone's up there, they know what that is. But it's just starting to make their way down here. And so Dunkirk and Fredonia are like the first 2 schools looking at this, and we've been doing training. Today was our 3rd day of 5, and it's spread out. It's not 5 days in a row. But what's amazing about this is that schools that participate this and buy into this whole process, they help each other when there are instances of trauma or illness or grief. So like we've had, unfortunately, deaths at our school that's very traumatic. And often you hear on the news, like, oh, there's going to be extra people there to help counsel and so on. And this is a very formalized process to help schools work with each other in all 3 of those areas, where if one school is struggling in an area, there might be a couple of counselors available or even administrators available to go and help if they're really inundated with something difficult. There's also training here for other areas of trauma, including some of the things that we're working on right now with students. And one of the things that we mentioned was our kids sometimes say things to each other that isn't always great. Things like, go kill yourself, or, and they don't necessarily mean it. It's just the way that they're talking to each other. Sometimes it's, oh my gosh, I'm going to shoot up the school, but they didn't really mean that they're going to come and shoot up the school. But we have to take these things pretty seriously. There's a really great thing called CSTAG that we've started to invest in. We've had training for, I think, 4 members of our school. And it's a threat assessment. And this is something that we're hopefully going to be able to bring to our school. And we'd love to do a presentation on all of this stuff with TIG. And this threat assessment maybe in January if we can work it in. But this threat assessment is nice because not only does it shows that there's an importance and value to what these kids say, and we need to take it seriously, but in a situation where you don't determine that it's a threat, like there's no credibility. So for example, one that we worked on today was there was an elementary student who said that they were going to get a jet plane and crash it into the school. Obviously a very traumatic thing for a kid to say, but is that something that an elementary kid would ever be able to do? No, there is not a threat there. So how do we address this as a team? And it doesn't mean that there are no consequences, but we look at it as how do we teach the kid that that's not the appropriate thing to say in school? How do we support them moving forward from that? And not necessarily just say, you've got 80 million days of suspension, and which sometimes that happens at school. So I'm looking forward to learning more about this, and our crisis team, most of them are at this, so we're hopeful to maybe do a presentation in January to the board. So it's kind of exciting. Good stuff. Oh, one more thing, I forgot. Mr. Twinsky wanted me to mention. I know that we're parsing a lot of our extra stuff that have been in the hallways and in some of our locker rooms. He asked if I could bring it to the board. He didn't know the answer to this, but if we've had any opportunities to reach out to any community organizations to say, hey, we've got a bunch of extra chairs, we've got a bunch of extra tables, instead of just throwing them away if there's anything that might be viable for any of them to use. So I told them I'd bring that up to the board.
Just to clarify, we have reached out.
Okay.
We didn't have many takers. We still have some equipment and furniture out back that we're considering next steps. But I just want people to know that we did have scrap metal, what's the word? Containers. Dumpsters in, and did a really nice job of filling one, and we're on our second one. So we're just not necessarily throwing things out, we're recycling where we can.
Good.
And we've also invited some people, a few people came in and took a look around and thought that they would probably want some items, but when they went back to either their home school or their business, it turns out maybe other people weren't so enthusiastic about bringing more things into their building. So, but I appreciate the comment and the question. Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Paschke.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for the time and effort to assemble all that data for attendance. We really appreciate that. One small request, could you put that into an email so that?
I sure can.
I can't remember everything you said.
Yep. If you don't mind, I'll wait until Friday so I have all of the students. I don't want to give away anything secret
No,
because we've got seniors right here that might want to know.
Don't give it away. But, I mean, that way we can keep a running chronology through the year, and it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
So, thanks again.
Yeah,
Happy to do it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ms. Plains.
Thank you. So, as you know, the last board meeting I shared that a team of us would be heading to Arizona for the WAZED conference, which was lots of great learning, lots of great discussions, excited for some next steps. And they had a number of tributes to Paula kind of sprinkled throughout the conference with some plaques, some souvenir things, some little Love More notes that were put into flower arrangements that then were donated to local organizations. So it was really quite telling, the connections that she had built with people at the conference and just her passion around that work. So I just wanted to share that. Friday night we had a very successful, wildly successful activity night, record-breaking numbers, which is great because it's just nice to have the kids in the building for a safe, structured way to socialize with their peers, supervised by adults. Just good, wholesome fun, and it was a nice participation across grade levels, 5th through 8th, so that was great to see. Our modified sports are up and running with our 7th and 8th graders, a few 6th grade managers, and then a handful of our 7th and 8th graders that are playing up in a variety of different sports capacities, and of course, finally, our musical is this weekend. So it's a very busy time. Our preview is tomorrow, so that always drums up lots of business for those kids that haven't quite, gone home and raced to get some tickets. So I know it's going to be very well received tomorrow, so we're excited for that. It's a good time.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah, the musical, I'm going, I'm excited. I'm bringing my 5-year-old granddaughter and my 2-year-old grandson.
Perfect.
We'll see how long I last with the 2-year-old, but.
Well, and that's the nice thing, the musical for the middle school, like there's no intermission, so it usually is fairly quick.
It's quick,
so
that's what
yes,
I'm bringing.
it's great.
But still, you don't know my
Yes,
grandson.
audiences
So
of all
I'm gonna
ages.
keep about 15 minutes.
Right.
Mr. Droger.
Sure, I just want to highlight a few hands-on learning experiences our kids had last week. We had the Audubon from Jamestown come up and they did their animal pellets and deer antlers and turtle shells and things like that. So that's always a big hit with our kids in our building. Our art club went to the Albert Knox Art Gallery last week, which was really cool. They had some time to sketch. I think the weather was really nice because they had pictures of the kids sitting outside at the venue, so they had a really good time with that. Our bird tracking unit has begun in the 4th grade, where we have shipped in a couple pallets of bird feed, and we feed them all winter, and then the kids track the birds on their Chromebooks, and we kind of see where they migrate, which is really interesting for me. And then lastly, our E&L club harvested the potatoes that they planted last spring, and they had a little baked potato feast, sandwich. So it was good, little guys. They were good.
Wow, so many fun things.
Yep, thanks.
That's great, thank you. Mr. Forbes?
Good.
You good tonight? Mr. Morrison? Good there? Okay.
I'm going to jump back in with one thing, and I apologize for this. Katie Bergston, one of our 4th grade teachers, new to the district, wanted to be here tonight. She couldn't, but she shared a quick statement about how things have been going. She uses words like excitement, growing relationships, and learning for both the students and myself in her note. She highlighted the fact that the 4th grade does a lot of work on New York State and Native Americans. And she just wanted to note that students recently completed a research project and created Native American Tribe Museum, which included a model of a longhouse and an artifact from their tribe, and presented their creations and findings to their peers. She wanted to note quickly in science and ELA, they are learning more about the human body and completing projects to show how muscles move, along with how the eyes work. And students have been excited and getting into tackling multi-digit multiplication in math. She concludes with a quick statement here. She says, "Every day I learn something new and reflect on what I can do better the next day. I am lucky to have a supportive environment where I know I can continue to grow as an educator." So I just wanted to share that. Thanks to her. She apologizes for not being able to make it either last meeting or tonight.
Great.
Oh, Dr. Z, apologize. Kristen Farrow, who couldn't be here today, also sent me a text. She's like, "Can you get this in?" So she said, "Truly sorry for not being here tonight. Nice things are happening in special ed, including the upcoming Polar Plunge." Now this is amazing, which has raised nearly $10,000 locally for our district alone. This has well surpassed the goal and previous year amounts. So she just wanted to make sure that we shared that. And Dr. Z and I are planning to attend but not go in. We are 100% sure. If you've ever been to this, the kids come out of the lake, they go to this really muddy, seaweed-packed stuff. They come out looking like monsters, and they're freezing cold, so that's enough.
Okay. I don't want to take away from the kids' experience.
That's
right. Imagine the excitement you would generate. Oh my goodness. All right. All right, we're at the end here, I think. So looking forward to Ann and Sam joining us next meeting. That's going to be awesome. There's no need to move into executive tonight, so we can close the meeting out. Thank you for all attending. Students, you can ask any board member up here or any administrator to sign your forms. Thank you for coming, a large contingent tonight. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Ms. Hunt, thank you. A second? Mr. Kinney, thank you. Meeting's all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is now closed at some, Lauren says, 7:08.
Yep, oh, yeah, thanks.
Everybody coming home for Thanksgiving?